Okay, so I want everybody to meet John Stewart. No, not this John Stewart. John Stewart from Golden Lake, Ontario. And John Stewart from Golden Lake, Ontario, every Memorial Day weekend for 35 years, he used to go to the Indy 500. But this year, he's breaking his 35-year tradition. 35 years. Then I want you to meet Ray Caesar and his wife Jane Nagai, who canceled their New York trip instead and went to Japan. And it was mentioned that they would have spent tens of thousands of dollars in New York. These are two stories that came out of a report from CNN. And finally, the mainstream media is starting to talk about this again. Because the article talks about the two Canadians that I just showed. It also talks about the impact on business, border crossings, and what the United States needs to do to fix this problem. And their answer is completely wrong. So we're going to go through all of this in this video, and I have a few housekeeping things to take care of first. First thing, I want to acknowledge one of our GTL community viewers, and his name is Red. And you've probably seen his comments in my videos with his patented "Let us commence forth, my friends." Well, Red, from Sweden, I thank you for your consistency and always bringing positivity in my comments. I don't think you've missed a single video, and you're definitely more consistent than me, because I forget daily things that I'm supposed to say in videos all the time. So I really appreciate your support in supporting my channel. So if you see Red's comments in any of my videos, say hi, because he's giving his support from Sweden, along with the rest of our international viewers. The second thing before I start, the petition to have Pete Hoekstra potentially removed from our country, or at least reviewed, is currently sitting at 8,498 signatures. My original goal was to try to get this to 10,000, but maybe we can get to 15. There's still a lot of time left. June 25th, I think it ends. Yeah, June 25th at 2:52 Eastern Time. So if you haven't signed this petition yet and you don't like that Pete Hoekstra guy, the link to the petition will be in the description below. Alright, let's get started with this article from CNN, and it's titled, "Staggering Dip in US Tourism is a Troubling Sign for the Future." Now, as always, I'll read out the whole article for those that are just listening and as well as the visually impaired. I actually had somebody email me and thank me for reading it out, because she was experiencing a really bad migraine, and looking at the screen was actually making her migraine worse. So I'm happy to help in any way I can. Alright, let's get started. There's no sugarcoating it. The complete 2025 data is in, and the message is clear. International visitors stayed away from the US in the first real year-over-year decline since COVID-19 pandemic. The drop in visitors was larger than the global recession of 2008. This time, it wasn't a pandemic or collapse of the market. It was human error. Travelers cite presidential rhetoric and policies manifesting in highly public wars, both figurative and literal, as some of the reasons staying away. Yeah, those are a couple of reasons, but I have a whole shopping list of other reasons why we're avoiding. And these reasons aren't even because of the president himself. Moving on. 4 million fewer visitors came to the US in 2025 compared to 2024, with a total spending decrease by more than $8 billion. That's not just bad for those working in the service and tourism industries. The impact of a self-inflicted decrease in international visitors of this magnitude has implications on America's standing in the world, its soft power diplomacy, and the economy as a whole. CNN first reported worrying trends last August that have manifested into a 5.5% drop in international tourism in 2025. It's the worst single-year decline in 2 decades, with the exception of the 2020 pandemic. We used to be a country that others wanted to emulate. Well, I don't know about that. That narrative no longer exists, said Juliette Kayyem, faculty chair of the Homeland Security Project at the Harvard Kennedy School, and CNN senior national security analyst. Now, what she just said about others wanting to emulate the United States, I have a little bit of a problem with that. Now, I've said in my previous videos, and the latest one was the walk and talk video. For me personally, and I know a lot of our viewers, we have personal ties to the United States. Some of us might have family and friends just across the border. And some of us may enjoy going to the tourist destinations of the United States. I used to go to Hawaii, Las Vegas, California quite a bit. Others might go to Arizona, Florida, Myrtle Beach. My point is that us Canadians, and even international tourists, we actually enjoyed going to the United States. But there's a difference between enjoying and emulating. And I get the vibe that a lot of US citizens are mistaking that we enjoy their country as being that we want to be like them. I mean, I used to enjoy my time in the US, but it does not mean I want to be like you guys. I don't know, that emulate comment, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Anyways, moving on. Kayyem explained that the soft power, where America's strength is reflected in more than just military powers, is weakening with a filtered story being told to those outside the country. If you're a foreigner now, what you're absorbing about the United States is a dysfunctional government, ICE raids, Americans being killed, crime everywhere. The reporter forgot to mention the racism, the hate, the arrogance, the ignorance, and also the lying as well. Now, this chart shows the tourists that went to the United States in 2025 and compares it all the way back to 2000. Now, the bar for 2025, it looks a little bit high if you ask me. And I'm wondering, does it include commercial traffic? Does it also include business traffic as well? Because from the chart, it doesn't look like a huge dip. But if that little amount, according to the chart, can do this much damage, Imagine what the damage would be if we get back to that Great Recession period, or even the post 9/11 period. I'll have to save this slide for the next time I have a live stream with Wayne Smith, which should hopefully be coming up pretty soon. Okay, moving on. With significantly fewer people coming here, she said, the long-term harm is that the world will not know America. The narrative of the United States is now a country that is at best not to be respected, at worst, a democracy that is floundering. I have to disagree with this comment because when she says the long-term harm is that the world will not know America, I think it's very clear. The world clearly sees what the United States is right now. And it just didn't happen overnight. As I said in my last video, the mask is off, and the true colors of some of their citizens is coming out. Perceptions aside, there are recent practical barriers of visiting too. Hesitation around a proposed $250 visa integrity fee, war-inducted spikes in jet fuel prices, and defunding of Brand USA. The only American organization that markets U.S. tourism to international audiences. Bills were introduced to the House and Senate to restore funding, but neither has moved forward. I'm sorry, but just putting money into Brand USA is not going to fix your problem. You could throw $1 trillion in there, offer the world a shitload of discounts, and people around the world will still not go to your country. This problem right now can't be fixed with money, or marketing, or even promos. I don't know what it's going to take to get that in their head. If you agree with me on this, let me know in the comments below. And if you do agree and you're not subscribed yet, and you want to hear more from a Canadian and international perspective, hit that subscribe button if you want to hear me continuing to call out the US media. Now, I'm going to skip the next session because they just talk about Brand USA, which I really don't care about, but I'm going to go straight to the Canada part. Next section is titled, Canada Leads in Giving the US the Cold Shoulder. Damn right. While there were noticeable drops from Germany, India, France, Chile, Australia, China, for example, the vast majority of the drop in visitors was due to Canadians not crossing the border. There were some increases in foreign visitors too, particularly from Mexico, by an additional 1 million people in 2025 over 2024. Now hopefully you guys can see this chart, but Canada is on the top. We went from 20.2 million down to 16, which is a drop of 4.2 million Canadians. And that drop is bigger than all the other countries combined, by about 4 times. And this is what actually really bothers me about the United States media. I mean, there was a report I did a little while ago, and they were saying that, yes, Canadians are down in terms of coming to the United States. But then the US media will say that we got other countries still coming to the United States. But hey, I guess your president said that he doesn't need Canada. So you guys shouldn't be missing the 4.2 million Canadians that didn't go to your country. Now let's get to Jon Stewart's story. Wow, my algorithm really wants me to go to Melbourne. If you can see the page that I'm taking the screenshots from, every single ad is from Malaysia Airlines telling me to go to Melbourne. Anyways, let's get to Jon's story. Jon Stewart of Golden Lake, Ontario, was supposed to be at the Indy 500 this Memorial Day weekend, but not this year. Every spring for about 35 years. 35 years. I mean, he's been going since I was like almost 10 years old. Anyways, he has traveled to Indianapolis to meet up with his American relatives, enjoy the lead up of race morning, soak in the pomp and circumstance, and talk to people with a beer in hand. He's been known to easily spend $10,000 on these annual week-long trips. Now, this is actually why I wanted to create this video, is to focus on the people, the Canadians. Now, this guy here, 35 years. Like I said, I was 9 or 10 years old at the time when he first started making this tradition. And spending an average $10,000 on each one of these trips. If you account for inflation and stuff, he's got to spend at least $300,000 in the United States. That was easy money for 35 years for the United States. And it's not going to happen anymore. Let me continue with his story. But Stewart said that he reached an ideological breakpoint. Unlike some Canadians who have already been boycotting all things USA, Stewart had not wanted to hurt regular American jobs when it's the man in charge he takes issue with. Alright, Stewart, if you happen to watch my video, I have a little bit of news for you. The man in charge is not the cause of all these problems. It's the everyday US citizens that decided to vote for this man and put him in charge. It could be the guy that you're buying your beer from. It could be the family that's running the RV park where you park your RV. Or it could be the business owner where you're buying your supplies for your week-long vacation. These people that I just listed out, who knows? They could have voted for Taco Tuesday, and they're the ones that are the problem. You cannot pin it on one man when 77 million people put him there. And the American jobs? Well, for those business owners and workers that did not vote for this, I feel for them. But the ones who did vote for this, thoughts and prayers. Because the Republican business owners are getting exactly what they voted for. Now, I said in previous videos that there were probably Canadians that still went last year, but they're going to change their mind. And for Jon, he reached his breaking point. So you have to wonder how many other Canadians this year are going to reach their breaking point with the United States. Now back to the article. But recent conversations with Taco Tuesday supporting American colleagues are ultimately what made him think twice about spending a vacation time arguing with people in the US. I just don't want to put myself in that position on a holiday where I know I'm just going to be normally having beers and watching racing. I just think I wouldn't enjoy some of the conversations, he said. Well, Taco Tuesday's chaotic salvo of tariffs levied on Canada and his rhetoric calling Canada to become the 51st state were bothersome. It had been the launch of the war in Iran that put Stewart over the edge. It's really not Canadian versus American. It's just what's right and wrong, he said. For now, he's pausing all of his personal trips to the US. Now, this is a good case study of what I've been saying in the past. Everybody has their own breaking point. Like my friend that I just mentioned in a couple of videos ago. He used to go to the United States last year, but when they bombed Venezuela, that was his breaking point. Others that I know, their breaking point was when ICE killed their own citizens. What I'm trying to say is that if anybody watching right now still knows people that are going to the United States, some may continue to go and there's nothing that's going to change their mind. But for some, there might be an incident that happens that tells them, okay, I'm now done with the United States. Okay, I'm already over the 10-minute mark, so I'm going to have to speed this up and skip a few sections. Okay, we're going to move on to the next Canadian story. Travelers are disappointed. Canadian travel to the US may be entering a rebound phase, with visits by car increasing by 5.8% in April, compared to the same month last year. Yeah, we already know this. The first month showing an increase in more than a year. Visits by air are still down, according to Stats Canada. I told you last time I had a problem saying that word. But recovery may be slow. People like Caesar of Toronto aren't returning anytime soon. Canada is not a subordinate state or a vassal of the United States, Caesar wrote to CNN in an email. Threats about destroying our economy or diminishing our sovereignty strike many Canadians as profoundly disrespectful towards a country that has historically been once America's closest ally, most stable neighbors, and most dependable trading partners. Man, he sounds as pissed off as we are. Caesar and his wife, Jane Nagai, recently spent tens of thousands of dollars on a trip to Japan instead of taking a trip to New York. He said they have plans to go back to Japan and will be going to Vienna and Italy in the near future. The reality is that there's many extraordinary places around the world to visit, and for us, the United States is simply no longer one of them. We have largely made peace with the idea that we may never return. He is not frustrated with Americans themselves, but is disappointed with the people who have enabled this political direction or failed to resist it. Sounds like you watched my channel. Canadians aren't alone in these feelings. Other would-be foreign visitors have balked over the talk over the US annexing Greenland, questioning the NATO alliance, and handling of tariffs or wars. Okay, I wasn't going to tell this last story because I'm running out of time, but I think it's important for our international viewers to see, more specifically those in Europe. Sadness is the overwhelming reaction for Karen Williams as she visits Massachusetts this month without the large extended family that she was supposed to be going with her. Williams, a dual citizen of the United States and Sweden, came to the US to see her son graduate from college, but she's there with only her husband and not her 6 other relatives from Scandinavia who spent years saving up for this trip. Instead, the extended family canceled after seeing how federal agents interacted with immigrants and US citizens in Minneapolis. Williams, who chairs the Democratic Abroad Skane, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, a region in Sweden, says she did not try to persuade her relatives to change their mind. So there you have it. People in Canada, as well as those around the world, are avoiding the United States. And the one thing that the United States loves is money, and they're not going to be getting it anytime soon. Now I'm going to show this last paragraph of the article because I did say I would mention it, at the beginning of the video. But let me read it out. To start clawing out of this hole, Sachs said the US leaders need to start by fully funding Brand USA, toning down the rhetoric particularly against our allies, and getting out of our own way. We will make it through this as well, Sachs said. It's just a question of how long it will take. Well, 2 issues I see here. The first one, they're still banking on Brand USA to be the knight in shining armor for the United States tourism industry. Like seriously, they think that throwing money at something is going to fix a problem. Like I don't care how good the website is or how many promo codes or whatever is on this Brand USA promo. It's not going to change my mind. Because to me, it's more of a people thing. And there are things that we've seen that we cannot unhear. Like US citizens calling us their 51st state, saying they don't need anything from Canada, or they don't see Canada as a sovereign country. This is probably going to live with me for the rest of my life. I'm not going to lie. I'm always going to remember this. I mean, the global society has already changed when it comes to the perception of the United States. If people around the world see US tourists in their country, you damn well know they're going to be thinking in their head, who did this guy vote for? Is he one of them? Is he one of the people that contributed to this chaos that the world's going through right now? Which leads to the second problem, where whoever the Sachs guy said, it's just a question of how long does it take. Well, it's definitely going to take a lot longer than the rest of the Taco Tuesday's term. And for some, it might be years after that. For others, it might be decades. And then for some, which I know there might be a lot watching this video right now, it'll be never. So every day that goes by, the United States keeps digging themselves in this hole. But I know for the rest of us looking out on this side of the fence, we're just going to keep observing, taking notes, and remember what has been said. To close off this video, I would like to thank Brian from our Discord server for posting this photo of Duck Mountain Provincial Park in Manitoba. I know a few videos ago I said I wasn't getting enough photos from Manitoba as well as Saskatchewan. If this is the first time you're seeing this map, one of our viewers named Belgian and Curious posted this on the Garde Leaf Hay Cafe page, and he's been plotting all of the backgrounds that I've been featuring since March. So Brian, I thank you for posting some photos of Manitoba, and I'll be using your other ones in the future as well. Alright everyone, that's all I got for this video. If you found any value in anything I said today, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international perspective, without the US media bias, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below. That way you'll be notified of my future videos. And don't forget to hit the bell icon and select all. And if you want to see more of my videos, check out the ones that are going to show up on your screen shortly. Thanks everyone, I'll catch you in the next one.